Hi everyone, I'm Nuki Maelansa and I will explain about diagnostic assessment in the classroom. So what is diagnostic assessment actually? Diagnostic assessment can be used to get at micro level issues that interfere with an individual student's comprehensibility when speaking a new language. For example, we know that pronunciation differences impede communication. A diagnostic test of pronunciation at the beginning of such a course would probably not resemble the classroom activities you design for the course, but it would identify the issues that your individual students needed to address with your help. Issues that would impede their ability to communicate clearly and would impact their performance in the course if they were not addressed. For example, some students may have difficulty pronouncing certain consonants. A diagnostic assessment would identify which ones and identify potential exercises to address a student's recognition and production of this consonant. Because speakers in the different languages have different challenges in pronunciation, right? We would not have time in our classroom to address each of these differences for our whole class. Using diagnostic assessment, however, we can identify an individual's capabilities and weaknesses through diagnosis, and then offer a range of exercises specific to the individual requirements. In this way, we can target the specific micro-level challenges that could impede learning and development. If we are teaching a homogeneous class where all our students use the same languages, the first language, it is possible that our diagnostic may lead to a classroom activity for the whole class, right? In this case, we can raise our students' awareness by administering the diagnostic assessment. Tap into what they have recognized and the strategies that some of the students use to address the micro-level challenges of communicating, and develop a range of in-the-class activities to promote production. In many languages in the classroom, however, our students are linguistically and culturally diverse. In a conversation class for students with background and proficiency in many different languages, one of our students may be challenging in pronunciation and others may be challenging in intonation, for example. Still others may speak too quickly so that words blur. It may be that a highly motivated student with brilliant ideas and excellent vocabulary in large, incomprehensible because the new language, for example, consonant and then intonation and the past, each one of these issues can be addressed. The first step is to diagnose interferes with communication. The next step is provide individualized activities to address them. Here it is example 2 in an English for academic purposes EAP class. She notes that when her students are placed in her EAP classes, their skill in academic English are not necessarily balanced or even. In fact, many students in the same class may have very different skill sets. For example, some can speak fluently and easily in English, others may be not. Alright, here an example of an online diagnostic assignment. To speak and or may be very difficult to understand. Her students also differ in their development of academic reading, writing and listening skills. She argues that if she really wants her students to develop to their full potential, she needs to understand their development in each of the academic skills and then devise activities that will support their learning. Peggy typically work with classes of 30 students. She also has the advantage of having a computer-based learning management system to work with in her teaching context. Alright guys, besides on that, I will explain to you about values and attitudes about assessment. The first is teachers' value and beliefs in students. And the second, sharing learning goals with their students. They must share what their goal with their students. And next is involving students in self-assessment. It is important also to make students more know what they want to learn, know what their goal in their learning. And then as a teachers must give watchback or feedback for the students. Students can recognize. Right, next is being confident that every student can improve their learning. As a teacher, teachers must have belief that students can improve their learning, and each student has each different level, each different style for learning. So teachers must have belief that students can improve their learning activity or their learning value or their learning goal. And then the last is providing students example about what the teacher expect from the students. Alright guys, the last we can conclude that the diagnostic assessment, most assessments measure how students are performing learning with their current teacher. The diagnostic assessment a little bit different because each student has a different level also and has different ability, such as students fluently in English speaking but not in pronunciation, for example. By measuring the students' prior knowledge, it measures what previous teachers and schools have taught them. It is to make now that student capability and ability. Advantages using the diagnostic assessment. The first about clarifies the concept of students, and then it enables the teachers to build the strengths in their students, and then the teachers can introduce the concept or information to their students. And then at the end, the teachers can show the pretest that how much their students improve or how much their students can grow up while the learning process. Alright, here it is the teachers can usually do diagnostic assessment in the classroom. The first is a pretest on students' current knowledge. So before the class begins, to know the current knowledge of their students. And then a classroom survey. So teachers usually used a survey in their classroom to know the students. And then writing prompt. And the last is writing assessment. A diagnostic test in education is meant to improve the level of teaching learning. So the assessment isn't a formal, graded test and doesn't affect the final grade in the class. From the teacher's perspective, it's low stake actually. Good diagnostic feedback. The first good diagnostic feedback is constructive, and then teachers should take the students' individual personalities into account, and then feedback should be about specific skills, subject, and weaknesses. And then one-on-one conference between the teacher and the students in good way share diagnostic feedback. And then the feedback can be verbal or written. It is depend on the teacher that give the feedback or watchback. And then teachers should have students take the notes. Well, thank you so much for watching. I hope you learned something from this video, and go to the next presenter. Bye!